Hello dear friends. I have been in love with Linux operating systems for many years, to the point of eliminating Windows when they sell it to me installed on a computer. This Finnish system was made free and free of charge to promote solidarity and to help liberate humankind. Opinion piece. Linux is Gesara. Its philosophy matches. It's free knowledge. Free software is the future. Open source gives freedom. It is based on humility and empathy. It respects the user's freedom. The common good is one's own good. Freedom to help others. It is beneficial to the community. Microsoft called it an affront to capitalism, in quotes. Yet, Microsoft bought the Linux kernel. Let's start. The ethical and solidarity moral basis of Linux and free software as an alternative to the private one totally matches the benevolent and solidary spirit of Gesara, with the difference that it has already been implemented for many years. As Linux popularity spread, Microsoft called it a cancer, describing open source software as an affront to capitalism. But Microsoft contradicted itself when it once bought the GNU Linux kernel and customized it to integrate it into Windows 10 and make its own operating system more stable. It is so stable that Linux is everywhere on most servers in the space industry and in many companies and states, as well as private users. Its creator, Linus Torvalds, was presented as a Finnish software socialist activist who threatened the software industry. However, Linus stated that he found people who think open source is anti-capitalism somewhat naive and a bit stupid, in quotes. New version. A few days ago, it was announced the release of the new version of Ubuntu 22.04 LTS, Yummy Jellyfish, which is categorized as a long-term support version with updates for 5 years, which in this case will be until April 2027. Of the main changes that have been introduced in this new version of Ubuntu, the update of the GNOME 42 desktop environment stands out, in which adjustments have been added for the interface design common to the entire environment and performance has been optimized. Its sponsor, Canonical, is a British company owned by South African entrepreneur Mark Shuttleworth. It offers the system for free and is financed through services linked to the operating system and by selling technical support. In addition, by keeping it free and open, the company is able to leverage community developers to improve components of its operating system. Ubuntu, Linux Mint and Zorin are the three most popular Linux operating systems, although there are many more. Ubuntu is an African word meaning cooperation rather than competition. Philosophy. Ubuntu is a worldwide ethical rule initially originating in South Africa, focused on the loyalty of people and the relations between them. Ubuntu is seen as a traditional African concept. The word comes from the Zulu and Xhosa languages. Ubuntu is seen as one of the fundamental principles of the new Republic of South Africa and is connected to the idea of an African Renaissance. It is an attitude of mind that stems from the popular saying, a human being is a person because of the others. There are several possible translations of the term, and the common ones are: first, humankind toward other living beings. Second, if everyone wins, you win. Third, we were because we are. 4. A person becomes humankind through other people. 5. A person is a person because of other persons. 6. I am what I am in function of what all persons are. 7. Belief is a universal link of sharing that connects all humankind. 8. Humility. 9. Empathy. 10. I am because we are, and since we are, therefore I am. 11. We are, therefore I am, and since I am, then we are. 12. The common good is one's own good. 13. A living being with Ubuntu is open and available to others, supports others, doesn't feel threatened when others are capable and good at something, because he is sure of himself, since he knows that he belongs to a great totality, which is diminished when other people are humiliated or belittled, when others are tortured or oppressed. Description: GNU Linux is an operating system or a family of Unix-like operating systems composed of free and open source software. GNU Linux arises from the contributions of several software projects, among which stand out the GNU initiated by Richard Stallman in 1983 and the Linux kernel initiated by Linus Torvalds in 1991. Although most people use the term Linux to refer to this operating system, in reality that is only the name of the kernel, since the entire system is also made up of a large number of components from the GNU project, along with third-party components ranging from compilers to desktop environments. There are derivatives that use the Linux kernel but do not have GNU components, such as the Android operating system. There are also GNU software distributions where the Linux kernel is absent. GNU Linux operating systems are usually found in the form of compendiums known as distribution or distros. Among the most popular are Debian, Ubuntu, Red Hat, and SUSE. Freedom. Free software is programming whose source code can be freely studied, modified, and used for any purpose, and redistributed with changes or improvements. Its definition is associated with the birth of the free software movement, led by the American activist and computer expert Richard Stallman, and the foundation he chaired in 1985, the Free Software Foundation, a non-profit organization that places the freedom of the computer user as a fundamental ethical purpose. According to Linux creator Richard Stallman, computer users are used to thinking that the program is just a tool and only think about how convenient it is to use, whether it is capable, whether it is effective, etc., while ignoring social and ethical values. In this way, users look for a program surely only guided by practical values, but ignoring the key question, the most important of all, Does this program respect my freedom? By doing so, they are not aware that the question of freedom exists. However, free software is software that respects the user's freedom. The difference between free software and proprietary software is not a technical question. It has nothing to do with the program's career, but with the social system of its distribution and use. A program is free if the user has 4 essential freedoms: the freedom to run the program, the freedom to study the source code and change it, the freedom of solidarity to help others and distribute copies of the program, and the freedom to help the community by distributing copies of changed versions. Linus Torvalds reclaimed the ultimate authority to decide what new code is incorporated into the standard of Linux kernel. He owns the Linux trademark and oversees the use of the trademark through the non-profit organization Linux International. To the base system distros and their own selection of pre-installed applications and program or applications that can be downloaded from a repository for later installation in singular. Reasons. People use free software operating systems such as GNU Linux for a variety of reasons. Many users use it because the system is powerful, because it is reliable, or for the advantage of being able to modify the software to do what they need it to do. These are good reasons, but there is more to it than just convenience. What is at stake is their freedom and their community. The idea of the free software movement is that computer users deserve the freedom to form a community. You should have the freedom to help yourself and modify the source code so you can do what you need to do, and the freedom to help your fellow man by redistributing copies of the programs to other people. Also the freedom to help build your community by releasing improved versions so that other people can use them. The right to digital disconnection is the right of employees not to answer video calls, emails, WhatsApps, or any other type of communication outside their working hours. It consists of respecting rest time, leaves, and vacations in addition to the personal and work privacy of workers. The right to disconnection allows workers not to connect to any device for professional reasons outside their working hours. I practice digital disconnection every day when I finish my work. Reset news. First, Trump sends a message, in quotes, "If America falls, the world falls." Second, the economic war against Russia is heating up. Third, according to the World Bank, global inflation will continue to rise until 2024. 4. Russia and China are moving towards a multipolar world order. 5. China denounces dollar dominance by buying Russian coal with yuan. 6. Iran wants to trade with Russia in national currencies. 7. Russia and Iran will develop the alternative to SWIFT. Russia and Iran have been cooperating to connect their interbank messaging systems in order to bypass the SWIFT network for financial transactions. 8. Response from Sergei Gladyev, Russian geoeconomics czar. The new global monetary system, backed by a digital currency, will be backed by a basket of new foreign currencies and natural resources, and will free the global south from both Western debt and IMF-induced austerity. 9. The transition to the new world economic order is likely to be accompanied by a systematic refusal to honor obligations in dollars, euros, pounds, and yen. In this respect, it will be no different from the example set by the issuing countries of these currencies that saw fit to size billions of dollars in foreign exchange reserves from Iraq, Iran, Venezuela, Afghanistan, and Russia. 10. According to Reuters, Russia is asking the BRICS countries for closer economic integration, the use of common currencies for exporting and importing, the integration of payment and card systems, their own financial messaging system, and the creation of an independent rating agency. 11. Russia's central bank announces the peg of the ruble to gold at 5,000 rubles per gram. 12. By pegging gold to the ruble, Russia has just eliminated the dollar's influence on world markets. 13. Moscow will consider Bitcoin, gold, and ruble payments for natural gas. 14. Lavrov pushes for more active cooperation between Russia, India, and China, and calls it a troika. 15. SpaceX expands its space internet network with a new batch of 53 satellites. 16. Billionaire Jeff Bezos lost to $20.5 billion in 24 hours. 17. Amazon goes into the red and loses $3,844 billion through March of this year. 18. The euro depreciates 7% this year and falls to 2017 levels, $1.05. 19. Italy says goodbye to the health certificate and starts to take off the mask. 20. Germany cuts the price of its public transport to just €9 a month. 21. Dock workers in Sweden and the Netherlands refuse to unload the ship with Russian diesel oil. 22. The war in Ukraine threatens press freedom in the Baltic countries. 23rd. US prepares to send armored vehicles to Ukraine from Georgia. 24. British government threatens Elon Musk if he allows free speech on Twitter. 25. Spain requests the second disbursement of European funds for €12 billion. 26. The Peruvian government included chicken and corn in the products with tax exemption. 27. Mercury and the Pleiades. When the sun sets tonight, go out and look west. Mercury is in conjunction with the Pleiades star cluster. 28. Message from Hutton. The battle for the conquest of the dark side is over, and the forces of light have won. No nuclear weapons will be allowed. 28. May is a mystical month. In the celestial realms, May is considered a mystical month because of all the special events that occur during the month of May, involving divine intervention, celebrations from the outside world, and celestial gifts from above. Another wonderful thing that happens during the month of May is that Mother Mary opens the doors of her Immaculate Heart temple on the inner planes for the entire month. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.